delight and an honor. I want to start by telling you that I posted a bit of your podcast content after you did your famous recent podcast, and obviously people blown away by the things that you were saying, the vision that you were putting forth, but also by the beard. And I just want to say that people love the beard. I'm sure you've heard this. And it is a very sort of, it feels very like almost Abraham Lincoln-esque to me. No, not that long and not the hat, but like, I just love it. I think it's great. You look really good. And I wanted to ask, just because I am an Abraham Lincoln fan, and this is a way for me to like segue into talking to you, like who's your favorite president in history?
So it's Lincoln for sure.
It is Lincoln.
Yeah, I know sometimes it feels obvious, but it's also just true. I mean, what other president has had to face half of the country breaking off and declaring war against the other half? Something we should remember when we think about how unprecedented our times feel, is just how much our country has come up against. And he's somebody who thought forward. I mean, while holding the country together in the Civil War, he oversaw the Transcontinental Railroad, what would become the National Science Foundation. I mean, really profound, forward-looking things to make our country better off. Yeah. He read, he thought. Yeah. I think of all the things he said, maybe my favorite is when he said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I would spend the first 4 sharpening my axe. And I think about that all the time.
Fantastic. I've not heard that one.
I hope that's true. I've definitely heard it.
Well, even if it's not, it's a really good, it's a good quote. My husband is a woodworker, so he would very much like that and appreciate that. And he prayed and he struggled a lot with faith, I think, and what he was doing. And what I love about him is that he, obviously there were no polls. He really trusted his inner guidance and did things that he felt were right even when they were popularly opposed. I always tell people, like, not everybody approved of what he did at all. Yeah. And it, in its own way, there was sort of a Fox News-ish culture then, too, in the newspapers, right? Yeah, so, for sure. Anyway, so thank you for that. I love history. I think American history is important for us to understand and read about. So that was great. So I have a trans teenager. I'm a mom, and that's a big part of the reason I do what I do. A great kid, MJ. And when I told MJ that I would be talking to you today, I said, well, if you could ask Pete Buttigieg one question, what would you ask him? And they said, I guess I would like to know, I've seen this, 100 days of Trump. This, I think we could all argue, the worst 100 days historically, right, of any presidential administration in terms of lack of accomplishments and destructiveness. Yeah. What does the opposite of that look like? Right? Like, so let's say you're president, or I don't want to put, you in any uncomfortable position, but like, let's say we've got a great Democratic president who comes in after this with all of the wreckage, but also who wants to do more than just fix what we had, as you just talked about, but create something new. What does that look like?
I think that's the question.
It is.
Substantively and politically, it's not enough to just be saying no. There's a lot to say no to right now. Right. But the real question to me is, how do we build a more robust sense of freedom in this country, of empowerment, democratic empowerment for people, where we're not just the playthings of a small number of ultra-rich people, one of whom happens to be the president, but rather better positioned to live lives of our choosing. And it turns out it really matters what our government does and how it's shaped in terms of whether we in our everyday lives are more free, whether our families are supported. And I could talk about that in terms of policies, wanting to see paid family leave or a higher minimum wage or some of the other things I think we need to do in terms of law and regulation. But I also think we need leadership that calls us into a shared project. There's a shared sense that what we've had isn't working. Right. There should be a shared sense that we're all part of building something different and better. Right. And I really believe that that's possible. Yeah. I think that we need to organize our imagination around the reality that sooner or later a day will come when Donald Trump is not the president of the United States. Right. Yeah. He will not be politically active in the United States 10, 20 years from now. Right. And then from that, solve back to what we would build instead. And the answer cannot be, let's just put everything back the way it was. Right. The New Deal systems that we inherited, the post-Cold War or the post-World War II systems that we inherited, they're done. And that could be okay if we have a sense of what we'd rather put in their place. So you're thinking not getting rid of things like Social Security, obviously, Medicaid, but like building on those, expanding them. Yeah, or
building
reimagining,
on top of reimagining
them for a different future. Look, nobody was worried about climate change, let alone artificial intelligence.
Right.
When we set up, to me, what's really important about artificial intelligence for the near term is what it's going to do to labor markets. This is an even bigger shock to labor markets and to our everyday assumptions about what it's like to have a job than the Great Depression was.
Right.
So,
Yep.
yeah, we need to protect and strengthen Social Security. That's not enough of an answer
Right.
to what is about to happen to millions and millions of American workers. By the way, up and down the economic ladder.
Time for one more question.
Time for one more question. Okay. Now we'll go back to, so, because again, I'm a mom, and this is a big part of why I do what I do. And you've got young kids, and I'm just curious, and this is from a total mom's perspective. What's your favorite kids book? What is the book that you and your kids like when they're like, Papa, that's what they call you? Papa, read me something? And I know you should say Chasten's book, because I know Chasten has a new book out, and it's amazing. And
they do
great.
love it, yeah. It's called Papa's Coming Home. It's this very sweet story. And so many reasons that's probably
your answer. Yeah.
My best answer I can give. But
Yeah.
we're always finding new books. There's one that Chasten brought home called The Rabbit Listened, which is
okay.
a really sweet, nice book that I'm really taken with. But we're also doing the classics right now. We're doing Peter Rabbit, and we're getting into a Dr. Seuss kick.
Dr. Seuss is great.
It was great because I don't remember why those were. I don't remember the plot of Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
I do now because I read it because the kids demand it almost every day. But it's fun to go back to that stuff. There's so much good stuff out there, and yeah, I'm proud of Chasten for adding to the options.
I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
This is great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's really a genuine pleasure. And I just love you. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.